Добър вечер, уважаеми зрители. Вие сте с предаването Контра, аз съм Страхил Ангелов. В нощта на 22 срещу 23 май украинската армия, която според пропагандата брани демокрацията в Европа от злите руснаци, нанесе удар с 16 дрона в рамките на 3 вълни по колеж в Старо Белск, Луганска народна република. Следствие на атаката бе поразено общежитието към колежа и 21 деца загинаха под развалините, докато спяха. Ето ги. Можете да ги видите. Това са техните снимки. Европейските политици и медийната империя на лъжата не забеляза това. Не осъдиха извършителите и не поднесаха съболезнования. Никой не поиска официално обяснение от Украйна за това масово убийство, което бе извършено абсолютно целенасочено. Самият Зеленски също не обели и дума. Напротив, продължи да тиражира заплахи и пропагандни клипове от Киев, който руската армия подложи на удари на възмездието след касапницата в Старо Белск. Единствената разлика е, че Русия порази цели, имащи основно военен характер, а не училищно общежитие с спящи вътре деца. Руските удари на възмездието бяха заклемени, но убийството на 21 деца и раняването на още над 60 останаха извън емисиите новини на западните медии, както и на българските им слугински подизпълнители. У нас казионните корпоративни телевизии и за жалост държавната, както и радиото, не обелиха нито дума за убитите деца. Използвам ефира на Телевизия Евроком и на предаването Контра, за да поднеса от свое име и от името на моето семейство най-искрени съболезнования към близките на невинните жертви на тази терористична частна военна компания, в каквато е превърната армията на Зеленски и корумпираната му неонацистка хунта, в която потънаха милиарди евро на европейските данъкоплатци. По същия срамен и позорен начин, така наречената демократична Европа на ценностите мълча за убитите 168 момиченца от американско-израелски бомби, които поразиха началното училище в град Минап, Иран, в самото начало на нападението на тази държава на 28 февруари. Вижте ги. Вижте тези детски гробове. Тъжно. И междувременно, в неделя, в град Неапол, в Италия, се проведе шествие в подкрепа на Палестина и против геноцида на Израел в Газа и останалите окупирани територии, в това число вече и Ливан. Демонстрантите носиха над главите си огромен списък с имената на 18 457 палестински деца, убити от израелската армия за 1000 дни. Всички, които си мълчат и се преструват, че не забелязват това, са съучастници. Всички. До един. Нека колегите обективни журналисти да гледат тези неща, да видят имената и лицата на децата, защото техните души ще ги преследват вечно. И всеки път, когато политици, общественици и журналисти, които старателно прикриват истината и дори я наричат дезинформация, хибридна атака или кремълска пропаганда, си позволят да говорят за човешки права, демокрация и справедливост, нека си спомнят за избитите деца, за военните престъпления, които се прикриват и дори фаворизират извършителите. Често представяйки ни ги като жертви, имащи законното право на самоотбрана. Това е. Повече няма какво да се каже. Лицемерието и цинизмът са взели връх, а дехуманизацията на цели народи е превърната в норма, в еталон на политкоректно публично поведение. Позор! Уважаеми зрители, в следващите минути ще може да изгледате интервюто, което взех от един истински социалист и патриот на своя народ. От един борец срещу розовата брюкселска тирания. Евродепутат и доверен човек на премиера на Словакия Роберт Фицо, господин или другарят, както той сам пожела да го нарека, Любош Блаха. Нека го види и чуе Крум Зарков и ортаците му, които са превзели българското социалистическо движение. Блаха ще им отговори на въпроса, който те постоянно си задават, защо загубиха подкрепа и останаха извън парламента. Ако имат очи и уши, разбира се, за да видят и чуят. Здравейте, уважаеми зрители! Намирам се в Братислава, столицата на Словакия. И както ви казах и в началото, с мен е господин Любош Блаха.
Nice to meet you.
Той е евродепутат, в момента независим такъв, защото партия на европейските социалисти изключи партията на Роберт Фицо, Посока, тя се казва Посока. И така Любош Блаха е в момента независим депутат. Сега ще премина на английски език, а вие ще може да чуете това интервю, т.е. да четете субтитрите, нали, когото са му необходимо. Hi, Mr. Blaha.
Hi, pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much that you accept my invitation for this interview. I think it will be interesting for our auditory. Let's start first of all. Why you was banned from the Party of European Socialists, PES? What's happened?
Well, I think that first of all, it's a good news that we were excluded from this party, because this party is no more left-wing, no more socialist, and no more peaceful like it was before. I remember the times of Willy Brandt or the other leaders of Party of the European Socialists and the socialist movement in the European Union. At the time, this movement was about peace. And maybe you remember Willy Brandt, he wanted to make the bridges with the Soviet Union. And always it was about doing all the best for the peace, for the dialogue, for the diplomatic, behavior. No, now they are about war. They are part of the war machine. There is no difference between, Christian Democrats and Social Democrats. It's like Pepsi Cola and Coca-Cola. There is no difference. There is no difference in economy. They are doing the same, neoliberal policies. So we were very stuck in this movement. I mean, my party, Smer, because of the traditions. We are Social Democrats, but the traditional Social Democrats. We don't want to have the LGBTI experiments. We don't want to have the homosexual marriages. We don't want to have the 75 sexes or genders. No, we wanted to have normal traditional society where the working class people are, have some social security. We want to have peace in my country. We don't want to have any hatred against Russia, and we don't want to send all our money to, the arm industries and to weapons industries. No, we want to be normal, just common sense, traditional social society, and patriotism. And that's why they hated us. Mr. Fizzo, my prime minister, he was in Moscow. He was in Moscow because there was the anniversary of the victory over fascism, and we are strong anti-fascist. So we said, okay, a Red Army liberated us. And the Germans and other countries and other parties from the Social Democratic family, they were furious. How dare it that you are going to Moscow? And I said, we said that we should go to Berlin to celebrate the Germans. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. They are absolutely out of their reason. So that's why we are very happy that now we are excluded. We are different than they are, but still we are Social Democrats. We are. I would say patriotic and social. We are really like we were always. But they changed. They are now neoliberal, progressive, and LGBTI movement, war machine, which is not right.
the worst thing is that it seems to me, that they become militarists, first of all. And the second thing is that the word capitalism, it does not exist in their speeches, in their documents. They agree with this political economic system.
Exactly. You are absolutely true. The social democracy started to exist in the past as alternative to this capitalism. You know, after 1989, maybe some people started to think that, okay, the traditional socialism collapsed, so let's think in other terms. But still, you were trying to find some alternative to this neoliberal capitalism. But now there is no such thing. That's the reason why whatever country you see in the European Union, the social democracy is down and it's decreasing because the working class people are voting for the far right parties or for the patriotic parties. No, they don't want to have these social democrats because they are the same like these centrist neoliberal parties. They are the same like the right-wing parties. They are the same like the capitalist parties. So this is the main problem for left-wing parties now. They are not trying to find the alternative to capitalism. They are just trying to find some alternative for these gays and the multiculturalism and for these, all these minorities. This is the issue. We were always the party for majority, for the working class people, for the people in the Slovakia, not for the minorities. And Brussels, the social democracy is now about minorities. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's let's say people in Europe now, it seems to me, are voting against the war and for common sense.
Mm-hmm.
Even it's not anymore economical ideologies. It's for the common sense.
Yeah.
They're looking for something normal. They don't want to pay Zelensky and his network, because it's a network now in Europe.
Yeah.
I think European Union and these multinational elites, the clerks in Brussels, they are hostages of Zelensky. He is the leader. He is the real chief of staff.
Yeah, it's a kind of mafia, I would say. And but neutral sense, like it's a kind of net. It's a kind of net when maybe it's a benefit for everybody. Maybe you heard about this corruption in Zelensky's circles. Maybe just think about this. Do you really believe that all this money European Union is sending to Ukraine, from this money there is a lot of corruption, golden toilets, and all this stuff? Probably there are a lot of billions who can be maybe returning back to these people who decide to go to send it them there. Maybe it's kind of corruption there. I don't know. But why all these Western leaders would send the money from German taxpayers, from the Austrian taxpayers and the French why would you do that? This is the black hole. Everybody knows that Ukraine is a corrupted state. Everybody knows that this war is you cannot win this war against Russia. It's impossible, So why to send the money there? Only because you need the money back. Only because you want to enrich yourself. That's why I think this is maybe kind of suspicion. I don't have any proof or evidence for this, but still think about this. Why are they sending this money? We Slovaks are not sending the money. Hungarians and Czechs not. We decided that we are not going to send any money to Zelensky's corrupting regime. We are not sending the weapons because we are for peace. We cannot just agree that the solution of the conflict in Ukraine can be in war. It cannot be done in war. It can be only in peace dialogue, only in diplomatic trials. That's why I think that the main reason, and you said it very correctly, the main reason why the Western leaders are trying to help Zelensky in such way is that it's a kind of a net. It's a kind of mafia, and they are collaborating each other.
Yeah, because it seems to me that they are
pretty much afraid of Zelensky. And no matter what he and his network, his junta, because it's junta,
yeah,
it's not,
no
there
democracy.
is no elections
Exactly,
in Ukraine anymore. It's
Exactly.
forbidden. Elections are forbidden, opposition are forbidden,
Yeah.
opposition media are
Forbidden
forbidden,
and
everything.
imprisoned.
So, but the political establishment in Europe, they are afraid. They are afraid to tell him no, or to point him with finger and say, hey, you must stop.
I think they created monster. They created Frankenstein because at first they started to send him the weapons. Ukraine was poor state without any military capability. Suddenly, after a few years of sending the weapons, the best weapons from America, from Germany, and so on, suddenly the Ukraine is one of the most powerful weapon machine or the military machine in Europe. It's a monster. So they now, yes, you are true, they now can be afraid. Also, they created a monster in other sense. It's a kind of PR monster. Zelensky, he was for years, cleaning, they cleaned him. They created a hero, they created a god, and whatever he said now, and he's a comedian, he's a very shallow man. He's just a comedian. And suddenly he say, for example, that, okay, I don't agree with Mr. Merz or I don't agree with Mr. Macron. All the newspapers in the West will say, oh, Zelensky, this hero, this god say this. And it's very dangerous for the political capital of these leaders in their countries because they created such Saint Zelensky. And that's why now they are in a very ironical situation. I mean, these Western leaders, they cannot control the monster they created in a sense, militarily and from the PR perspective. That's why they are in the back situation, And but this is only a part of the story. The second part of the story is much more dangerous. The second part of the story is that there is a trend to rewrite the history, the trend of change the post-war situation. Remember, after the post-war, everybody was sure that it was Soviet Union who liberated us. I mean, Slovakia, Bulgaria, and many other countries. Everybody knows that we need some balance, some respect to Russians because they are so strong and they have some interest, and we need to have good relations with them because of energy sources, because of all these, patterns. But still, suddenly now, what we see, all the taboos, post-war taboos are broken. Germany, militarization of Germany is in the same shape like it was during the Hitler times, in the same shape.
Yeah, there is only one difference, which is very important, and which is important for Slovakia, which is important for Europe as a whole, and for the Germany. They don't have this industrial basis to get militarized again.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have the access to resources.
Yeah, that's true.
So the only thing is that they have propaganda.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But still, they are trying. They are trying to reshape the history, and it's very dangerous. The main military company in Germany in Nazi times was this Rheinmetall. At the time, the director was Hermann Göring. Now, the same Rheinmetall is one of the most important German company in this industry, in this arms industry, still very successful and almost in the same shape like during the Nazi times. The only difference is that the director is not Hermann Göring. The only difference, and this is very dangerous. This is very, and the Russians are looking on this. They lost dozens of millions people in this war. And suddenly the Germans are in the same hatred against Russians. They are in the same militarization like at the time. You are true that it's not in the same economic background, but still very, very dangerous propaganda. Yeah. And suddenly everything is changed. Everything is changed. And that's why I think the Slovaks and Bulgarians know very well. We need to come back to normal common sense, to the historical truth, to the historical justice. Not because we love Russians. Yes, we like them. But it's not about love. It's about the justice to the victims of our liberators. And that's why Slovaks and Bulgarians will be always different than they are in Germany. And because for them, It will be the last sentence. For Germans, it was, and always it will be, not a victory over fascism. It was the defeat from the Russians. I mean, the Second World War. That's their psychology. That's the difference.
Maybe the biggest problem and the goal is to deprive Russian status of victorious.
Yeah, exactly.
Окей. Уважаеми зрители, останете с нас след рекламите. Ще продължиме разговора с господин Блаха.